燃えるときめきは時代を映し色鮮やかに燃え盛る炎暗い今は見えなくとも Searching 道しるべは浮かぶ I wanna have a few time everyone's an open mind 暗い街角開く空からひどく移ろう星が揺れてもそこに残った若さ取り出し Baby the sign of Zeta You're the heart from now
Welcome, everyone, to the Great Gundam Project. This is episode 22. I am Jackson Tyler. I am joined by Em.
Hello, Gundam!
Gundam is here. This is a podcast in which we watch through the entirety of the franchise that is known as Mobile Suit Gundam. We have just completed our watch of Mobile Suit Gundam, otherwise known as 0079, the first show in the series. We are now beginning our watch of Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. But that means that this is our second free episode. Every time that we start a new season, we're going to be making the first episode free. It's going on YouTube, so there's going to be a lot of new people this week if we're all being a bit more general about what the show is. That's because, hello, welcome new people. This is usually a Patreon show that you can find at patreon.com/abnormalmapping. It is released weekly, and you only need to subscribe for $1 a month in order to listen. That's like 25 cents an episode. It's pretty good. It's a good time. Come and watch the Gundam with us. So yes, we just finished Mobile Suit Gundam, the original show, last time, and now we're starting Zeta. It's a whole new world. There's so much more Gundam. There's new boys.
It's a whole new world we live in? It's a whole new place to see?
Yes, it is. It's a whole new world we live in. Final Fantasy.
It's a whole new place with a brand new attitude, but you still got to catch them all and be the best you can be.
Welcome everyone. I'm very nervous because I don't know why. These shows are always fine. I enjoy these shows.
These shows are usually like our chill behind the scenes. We're just very casual shows. Because this one's free, we obviously had to build it up and make it a big to-do, even though we're just going to talk about Gundam. And also, Jackson.
Yes.
You watched anime.
I watched anime. I did it. I sat down. So, segment one of this is where we check in if we've watched any anime. Usually the answer is no, because, we do a lot of things, and the majority of our anime watching is just the Gundam every week. But I did it. I finished all the Evangelion there is to watch. I watched the Rebuild movies. I've been rewatching the show, and now I'm done. There's no more. I'm free. I'm free forever.
For now.
For now, until the final movie comes out in 7 years or whenever it finally releases.
How are the movies? As someone who just got off Gundam, has just got off rewatching Evangelion.
I really like the Rebuild movies for the most part. It's interesting.
You're just gonna plant your flag and immediately drag it backwards as you retreat.
I mean, that's what the movies are. I think that 1 is really interesting. I think 2 is like legitimately fantastic. It is a fantastic movie. It's maybe my favorite Evangelion thing. Like the episode with the dancing is probably the best bit, and the show as a whole is very good. But as like a 2-hour encapsulation of what Evangelion is about, 2 is a very, very good version of that. It's much chiller. It's got a lot of slice of life bullshit. It uses the fact that it's a movie to show off the city in really cool ways and make it feel like it lived in space. It's just great. I love 2. 3 is just nonsense, and it kind of goes back in a lot of things. But does anyone know what the premise of 3 is? Because I don't actually want to spoil it if you don't know.
I don't actually know, but I don't care if you tell me. I know that new lady shows up.
The new lady showed up in 2.
Right, okay. I watched 2, but like almost a decade ago, it seems like at this point, so.
Yeah, that came out in 2009, so yes,
okay.
Almost a decade ago.
Great.
3, I won't say it, because 3 is like, it has a time skip. It's a whole thing.
Okay.
It goes in a completely different direction. The preview at the end of the second movie is for a completely different movie. None of that actually happens.
Huh. All right. That's interesting, because I thought that preview looked amazing, but I'm glad it doesn't do that.
Yeah, it did. It really did. But anyway, yes, no, the Rebuild movies are good. 3 is very divisive and mostly nonsense and set up for the next movie. I think it walks back a lot of interesting things. But you should watch them. They're fun. I'm glad to be free of this journey for now.
I saw the first two. I'd probably have to rewatch Evangelion before I did all that, and I don't even want to do that, so I can't be bothered.
That's why I did this stupid thing.
You know.
You don't need to rewatch Evangelion. You're fine.
I could watch anime I haven't seen before instead.
You should just watch the third run because you don't need anything. It's fine.
Okay.
Just watch that and let it kind of sink over you and be like, wow, that was a load of nonsense.
Fair enough.
But aside from that, yeah, that's all I've been doing. Like, I haven't watched other anime because apparently I'm in an anime mood, but that's me.
That's
things
you.
Things cycle.
The anime editor of Abnormal Mapping.
I am the anime editor. It is known. This is my position.
I mean, you edit our anime podcast, so you literally are anime editor.
Yes, no, those two things. Exactly me. Have you watched any anime?
So I watched the second and third Mobile Suit Gundam compilation movies. I'm not going to talk about them here, in part because you're going to watch the third one and then we can talk specifically about it. And also, this is about Zeta Gundam, and I don't want to talk about Mobile Suit Gundam on Mobile Suit Gundam cast, generally. That's my take. So we'll talk about it maybe next week or whenever you get around to watching that third movie.
Yep, no, I hear that one has like the actual changes that matter, so I'll just watch that one.
Yeah, and it's not exceptionally different. I was just surprised how much of it was different. So that's all.
Yeah.
Those movies are a fine way if you really need to just cram Gundam, but watch the show. The show is better. This is my take.
Now, this is what I assumed the take would be, but you had to get Destiny up to speed.
Yep. No. Yeah. So now I can watch Zeta with my partner, which is great.
Hooray! And on that note, it's time to talk about Zeta Gundam. So before we get into the regular episode recaps, this is the start of a brand new season. How did Mobile Suit Gundam Zeta Gundam? Does it have the Mobile Suit in the title?
Zeta Gundam.
Or because the title screen just calls it Mobile Suit Z Gundam, and I'm like, is there a different? The titles of these shows, they're good fun. Anyway, how did this all come about? Because last we left our heroes, the show had been cancelled in 1980, and the entire epilogue was one voiceover line and then there was a peace treaty goodbye.
Well, this Wikipedia hopefully does not tell me any of why that is the case, like why it was brought back. This show aired in 1985, directed by Yoshiyuki Tomino. Character designers Yoshizaku Yasuhiko, and mechanical designs are split among Kunio Okiwara, Mamoru Nagano, and Kazumi Fujita. This show aired between 85 and 86. There are compilation movies. They did not come out until the mid-aughts. We will not be watching them until they aired, because apparently they changed a lot to bring it in line with like the rest of Universal Century that had happened after that point.
But there's been like 20 years of Universal Century to make changes, so yeah,
Yes.
that's gonna be a very fun revisit. We will do episodes for those in a way that we won't usually do for compilation movies because it'll be so long. It'll be in like 5 years, so you know.
The one thing that I know is true is that Tomino put all the things he disliked in making Gundam into Zeta. He was like, I'm gonna make a show that is for me and me alone, and I hope people love it. He also then, according to Wikipedia, retrospectively said, I probably shouldn't have made Zeta, even though Zeta is one of the most popular Gundam.
Zeta is, when everyone talks about Gundam on Twitter, people talk about Zeta being the good one.
No.
In the circles I run in. And everyone who I talk to about Gundam is a big old anime leftist and loves when Gundam is extreme politics. So that's the context and the expectation I have going in.
Yep.
And then we begin. We begin with the theme tune that you heard at the start of this episode that I reacted to last time.
Yes, the one you don't like.
The one I don't like. I don't like the Zeta theme tune. Luckily, my Blu-rays don't have it.
Yes, the problem with that music specifically is that they got an actual musician to do that one. So the opening and ending themes are written by Neil Sedaka, and they only have the rights for distribution in Asia because they hired an American pop singer to do it. So they will never be on anything outside of Asia, except for YouTube, where you can go get it right now. And on this episode, I guess.
Yep, no, every episode is going to start with that song, but that's not the one we hear. I don't like it, but that's mostly just me not liking 80s jams. I'm going to talk a bit about that as the show goes on, because there's a lot of 80s in this show.
Oh,
this first episode. The
incidental music in this, like, just the whatever, I love it. I love it so much.
I was expecting to hate it because of how much I didn't like the theme tune, but then people just running around the base as like slap bass is playing over synth.
Yes.
And it's pretty good. So this first episode is called The Black Gundam. You do the summaries, and I'll interject. We used to do it so that we had a short summary and then talked about the episodes, but the summaries have ballooned.
The summaries have indeed ballooned, and they will continue to balloon, I think. So,
as they all want to do. So what happens in the Black Gundam? Oh, is it called the Black Gundam where you are? No, we're both
watching the Blu-rays. There is no longer a difference between our subtitles.
I assume it's just called the Black Gundam.
Yeah. Literally, I know enough Japanese to know that the title is just the Black Gundam, so...
Okay, well, there we go. There we have it. What happens?
On the Side 7 colony Green Noah 1, a boy named Kamille Biden runs out of school to go see a spaceport to see the ship Temptation, captained by Bright Noah. He's followed by his friend Fa Yuri. Camille's high-headed and really hates that his name is Kamille, so imagine his disappointment when he runs across some Titans who overhear Fa calling after him and make fun of him for having a girl's name. Camille leaps across the barrier and picks a fight with the lead Titan, a blonde man who gets his friends and the MPs together, and they beat the shit out of Camille before he's arrested.
This is, importantly, skipped over in the summary for obvious reasons, because it doesn't actually matter, but this is actually the second time Camille gets his shit beaten.
Yes, no, his karate instructor also slaps him.
Because this is a series full of people getting slapped. Boys getting slapped left, right, and center.
Yeah, no, the secret is when you go to like a weird like school run in part by fascists, you're going to get beat a lot, I guess.
Yeah. That's what happens there.
There's Camille. He doesn't want people to know that he's Camille, but everyone knows he's Camille.
He's like, people might find out of Camille. Other than the girl running with him is like, that's your name. Everyone knows your name, Camille.
Yes, her name is Fa.
Her name is Fa. Okay.
Yes.
Fake Frau Bo.
No, you can't do this because eventually real Frau Bo is going to show up. So
sure, but him just having like the friend who's a girl who's like, "Oh, I'm here to help you, Camille."
When I first watched this show, I also did this. You will enjoy it far less if you keep doing that. So I would insist on trying not to do that.
I will try not to do it, but come on. Anyway.
In prison, Camille's questioned about whether he knows about the AEUG, which is a group of space noids who are supposedly as bad as Zeon, and not at all a group opposed to the Titans and the cops and operating for the freedom of spacefaring humans everywhere. No, sir. The cop helpfully tells us all this, but Kamille keeps his mouth shut as the man tells him how much of a special boy he is by being good at piloting, only to leave, and Camille realizing that he's an even specialer boy as he sees the literal cosmos at his feet.
He's a special boy.
Yeah, because he's good at piloting. Because they're like, there's photos of him on like a training Gundam. It's like, oh, you're really good at the training Gundam.
Yeah, he's like come first in the mobile suit competition.
Yeah, also
G's.
the like jetpack Quidditch, whatever they play in this school.
Oh, I love jetpack Quidditch.
Yeah.
Gundam Quaffle coming soon.
God. A lawyer comes in and springs him, saying his mother got him out of detainment, but Kamille gets into another argument with the cop taking off his cuffs and proceeds to get into another fight with the police. He's about to get really beat up when suddenly the roof caves in. A mobile suit has accidentally crashed into the police station, and as Kamille escapes from the ensuing chaos, we see that it's a Black Gundam, piloted by the same tall blonde pilot who started this mess Camille earlier. Camille, the picture of good judgment, blows past his mother and steals a police car, driving it off and bailing into the woods to escape pursuit. A busy day for a high schooler in space.
Yeah, a lot happens.
Kamille is the most on his bullshit anyone has ever been. He picks a fight with two separate groups of cops in this one episode.
So there's not much to talk about here because these two episodes kind of form a complete picture. Yep. And like at this point I was like, I don't know what to say about Camille. Is he really just doing all this for no reason?
He really hates if people say he has a girl's name.
Like, is that the entire motivation we're going with? Because by the end of the next episode, he's like joined a terrorist faction in the eyes of the like lore of his of like where he lives.
Yep.
Obviously, the politics of the AEG and the Titans are clearly the Titans are the bad guys. But that's what happens to him, and the given motivation is just someone called him Kamille, which I thought he was and was like shocked he was a boy. What a ridiculous boy. What a ridiculous child. There is a moment in this episode, before everything comes together next time, where you just see like Bright in the background get into a car and drive off.
Yes, because he's going there to see Bright come in the spaceship. He's like, I'm going to see a real like ship captain, and completely misses that Bright is like right next to him.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, I got Bright's autograph before, and I'm like, yes, Bright, my favorite, I love you. Because I wondered who was going to come in first and how they were going to make the connections, and I'm glad it's Bright.
Nope.
But as a pilot, I thought this was like very interesting compared to Mobile Suit Gundam, which was very like, here's Amuro. Everyone is dead. Amuro is a traumatized war boy. He gets into Gundam. He fights the people. Like, it was very simple, beat for beat, and I could follow it in a way that in this, just like Kamille's doing stuff. There's Quattro's doing stuff. That's
I'm
Quattro,
not done.
right?
I'm not done with the summary, Jackson.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say
I have
that's
split
the end
this
of
in
the
half
episode.
because these two lines do not interact at all.
Okay, I thought you were done because I was like, you didn't mention Quattro for some reason. So tell me about Quattro Bangia.
Meanwhile, in space, Lieutenant Quattro Bagina is headed to Green Noah 1, flying a Rick Diaz. This is supposedly a colony built entirely out of old Xeon parts, but rumors are that it's actually a secret Titan base. Lieutenant Quattro is seemingly a new type, reaching out to try to feel for anything amiss, and he senses a strange rage of something flickering in his senses around the same time Kamille gets mad in the A-plot. He wonders aloud if this could be Amuro Ray or Lala Soon, names we recognize. It's not them. It's Kamille. Don't tell anyone he's Kamille.
Please.
Quattro sneaks inside the colony, going in with a mobile suit until it's too narrow, and then flying around with a jetpack, hacking doors or just blowing them open as his fancy takes him, until he's inside an industrial space in the center of the colony. He takes photos looking for Titan installations until he spots one of the Black Gundams, known as the Gundam Mark II. The Gundam pursues, but Quattro easily ditches the Gundam and the soldiers. He heads back out the way he came under fire, but cool as ice. So Quattro uses a door hacking tool to get through all of the defenses, and then when he gets to the final door, he's like, there's no reason to think this will work again, and he uses a grenade instead, only to just use a grenade, I think. I feel like there's no reason for it other than he is extremely extra.
I mean, everyone's extra.
Yes.
Like, Kamille is so much more on his bullshit than Amuro ever was, and that's saying something. That guy ran away.
Yep.
And hid the Gundam under a sheet.
Yep. Back in space, Quattro meets with his men, talking about the Gundam and deciding that they need help from the Argama. One of the mobile suits fires a flare into space, which is noticed far away by some manner of warship. This ship, presumably the Argama, fires a large laser towards the colony and blows a hole in the side as we reach the end.
Well, when has blowing a hole in the side of a colony ever gone wrong before? Certainly not this time.
Right.
Certainly everything's gonna be fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, we saw what it did to Amuro's dad.
He's fine. He's fine.
No, he's not fine.
He's like, oh, I'm making component parts.
Yeah, out of paper clips and trash.
Amuro's dad.
So a lot happens this episode, but it would probably be better to summarize the state of the world after episode 2.
Yeah, because that's where everything kind of comes together. It is very much a two-parter.
Yep.
Even more than the opening of Mobile Suit Gundam, which also does that.
Yep.
So should we just move on? Should we just do the thing and move to episode 2?
Yeah.
Episode 2 is called Departure, and everything continues as it left off. So where do we pick up?
The 3 Rick Diaz's enter Green Noah through the hole the Argama shot in the colony. They're here to capture a Gundam Mark II, and they don't care if there's a little collateral damage while they do it. Thankfully, their job's about to get a whole lot easier. The Gundam that Jared, the blonde jerk from episode 1, crashed into the building is loaded onto a truck. About this time, the Rick Diaz's show up and everyone scrambles into the remaining suits, and GM2 mass production mobile suits are launched. Jared races off to find a new suit as Bright tries to find a pilot for this abandoned Gundam. There are a few people in Gundam I hate more than Jared.
He sucks.
He's the fucking worst. The most jock-ass, fascist asshole in all of space.
Oh, the Titans are so fascist.
Yes.
We'll talk about all the state of the politics of this after we finish the summary, but man, this is what happened after the 1 Year War, huh? Alright.
Kamille, having ditched the cops, runs back to the detention center where the Gundam crashed, only to see a third Gundam about to be manned by Emma Sheen under Bright's direction. Kamille hops in instead and launches the Gundam entirely out of spite as he uses the giant death robot to threaten the MPU beat him up last episode. Whatever the opposite of chill is, Kamille lives there. Around this time, Quattro and one of his soldiers manages to ground one of the other Gundam, and Kamille decides it's his ticket out of there by offering his services to Quattro and immediately tackling the other Gundam and forcing the pilot out. That's 2 Gundam for the price of 1, so Quattro orders Kamille to carry the abandoned Gundam on his own as they leave Green Noah 1.
Bright Noah 1?
Yes.
Yes.
It's fine. We'll be done with this place tomorrow, or next week. So
Yeah. Oh, we're not going to spend a lot of time here.
They literally leave.
Yeah, I know. They sure do.
Yeah, no. Camille's like, hey, I will join you. I'm on your side immediately. Just hitching his wagon to whatever train gets him out of here.
Yeah, it's like, okay, is he just angry about this guy calling him? Because he basically, what happens is that everyone's about to kill each other, and then they all have to stop because they realize they're being interrupted by something that doesn't matter. Like, Quattro's sitting there like, hang on, what's happening here? As Kamille takes his Gundam and just tries to like beat up the guy who beat him up, but not actually, because if he punched him, he'd disintegrate this guy.
Yes.
So he just kind of like, yells at him and is like, I'm in a Gundam, suck it.
Yeah.
And then realizing that he's in a lot of shit, just like reads the room and goes, yeah, no, the Titans suck. I hate the Federation. Anti-Federation. That's me. Love you guys. Who are you?
It's weird because like you get the sense that Kamille is like really just against the man in general as a human being, but also he was like a star pupil before today, so I don't know what side of the bed he woke up on, but it's the worst one I hope I never find.
I mean, yeah, like Kamille throughout these episodes is portrayed as just, man, I'm not going to practice. I'm not going to class. I'm going to go look at the spaceports.
But also he's like
beat up all the cops.
He's like a star fighter and pilot, so I don't understand.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, I assume that's just going to be a default characteristic of every Gundam protagonist, unless their characteristic is that they suck at piloting.
Yeah.
And that's like, that is the aberration, not the other way around.
Oh, I really don't want to watch that show. I'm sure we'll hit it, though.
Oh, it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen.
Yep.
At some point, someone who sucks at a Gundam is going to have to get into Gundam.
Meanwhile, on Green Noah 2, Titan leader Bask Ohm is watching this battle and commenting how the Red Rictius, piloted by Lieutenant Quattro, reminds him of the Red Comet, though that's obviously impossible as that's a name no one has heard of for a long, long time.
Looks into distance.
Camille's father, a sweating businessman named Franklin, insists that Rictius has to be an AEUG suit because the Federation doesn't make anything like that. They're here to get the Gundam, and it appears they've succeeded. Bright reports in about the losses and accuses Bask Ohm and his Titans of bringing all this trouble on themselves and on the civilians here because the Titans are troubled with no regard for civilian casualties. Bask Ohm doesn't give a single fuck about the Space Noids though, and he and his men beat up Bright for daring to question the goals of the Titans to preserve Earth power by crushing any remnants of Zeon, including the AEUG.
This is going to go well.
Yeah, no, Bright gets the shit beat out of him here.
Yep, I mean, yeah, he sure does.
Yep.
And this is Bright of, like, smacking Amuro around the face fame.
Yes. But he literally walks into a room full of, like, SS officers. Like, all those dudes just look like the most, like, dressed up police Nazi bullshit men.
Yeah, no, but it's like, you know, it's like Worf getting owned in TNG, right? Like, you have to have them beat up Bright because Bright was the old captain to make you know that these are extremely the bad guys.
Yep. Fa, by the way, gets caught up in part of the battle as one of Quattro's men and a GM clash in a residential district. Fa gets her mother to evacuate, but stops at Camille's house to check in on him just in time for her mobile suit to crash through the house and send her scurrying. A departing Kamille, far overhead in the Gundam, watches her run in terror, but insists he's coming along when Quattro questions him. The 4 men of the AEUG, including their newest member Kamille, escape out of the colony and into space. They're pursued by Titans, including Jared, in a definitely not a Zaku suit called a Hyzak, but a barrage from an incoming Argama drives the Titans off, leaving everyone to take a breath and await their rendezvous. Isn't it nostalgic? The end.
Camille, you want in Gundam. Like, yes, it is, but you want in that show.
I mean, he's trying to meet Bright Noah, right? Like, he is clearly a Gundam fan.
Yeah, yes, and then he's like, "Sorry, Bright, I'm stealing your suit and joining the other side because yeah, why not, right?" Like, and thematically, I guess I like it because it basically draws into the Titans being fascist cops, and their like insane space racism is just creating discontent and is what is like making this new war brew under the surface. Right?
Like, the Titans are exactly what Zeon accused Earth of being at its worst, right?
For sure, yes, no, like they are extremely space racist.
Yeah.
They don't allow anyone who wasn't born on Earth to join.
Mm-hmm.
They go around dressed like that.
Yes.
So if you couldn't tell from everything about their actions, they're also like just wearing fake Nazi uniforms.
Yes.
Because anime has no subtlety and no chill.
And they're a bunch of like abusive jock assholes, and also they just don't care about like putting bases where civilians live.
Yeah, no, Brian comes in and goes, "Why the fuck did you put the Gundam base right next to where the people are? That's like not only ridiculous, it's also incompetent. Why would you do that?" And they go, "Ha ha ha ha," punch him in the face.
Like, these people live in space. They already are dead as far as we're concerned.
Yeah, they're bad. The Titans are very, very bad.
Yep.
So I understand like Kamille wanting to push against that. maybe the choice of it being spurred by like someone calling him a girl's name and then getting him confused, and that being the driving motivation until everything comes together, little questionable.
So
but,
there's stuff that Fa talks about with her mother where like it's implied that the Titan base is like a recent thing there, and so maybe the place is just overrun with Titans where like it used to be nice and cool, and now all these Nazis showed up and everyone's just like on a pressure cooker. And this is the bad day that breaks Kamille, but also it's not entirely clear that that's the case, and you have to infer a lot. So it also seems like Kamille just like lost his mind the first time someone made a joke about him having a girl's name.
Yep, because I get that as a motivation, but if you compare it to Amuro's like sense of like intense trauma at the entirety of Earth and like half the population being lost, like that subtext is far more prevalent in his character. Whereas Kamille just
Kamille wants to get in the robot. Don't you worry.
Camille's getting in that robot.
No.
Poor Emma. Like, oh, maybe a girl's going to get in the Gundam. No, never.
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Under no circumstances will that be allowed to happen.
I mean, Bright saw Sayla get in the Gundam. He knows what happens. No girls allowed in the Gundam, apparently.
That's true. That is a warning.
Yep.
Anime in the 80s. Oh, so the 80s. The 80s has come to the Universal Century.
Yes.
And everyone's wearing like jumpers.
Yes.
All the background music is incredibly 80s.
The background music is amazing.
Yeah, because of the theme tune, like I said at the start, I expected to dislike it, but so I'm fine.
Yeah,
I'm fine with
the part that's great is that when it's just like everyone hanging out on the on Green Noah, it's just like the smoothest saxophone, and then the minute the Argama comes in, it's just the blaring Gundam theme.
Yeah. But it's it's different from like Gallant Char and stuff in the soundtrack we had before. Like they were as 70s as you could possibly be. And these are as 80s as you could possibly be. Like Gundam's commitment to being of the era that it is of, I assume will continue throughout.
The thing that we get, because it's the 80s though, is an obsessive amount of detail of screens and helmet displays and explosions, and the fingers of the Gundam fold down to shoot flares and get like a knockout gas, and just all of the technology you can ask for is suddenly here.
I don't know about you, but I do like mechs.
Yes.
I like it when someone spends a lot of time animating the fiddly bits of a mech.
The default of these mechs are just a cockpit in space now, because it's better for like the narrative if that's what it looks like. Except for when it doesn't, when something bad is happening.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yep.
It's good. I'm excited about that kind of animation. Like, it was a little distracting at first. I was like, oh, right. I just finished Gundam last week, and now everything looks kind of different and weird, and the 80s have arrived. But it did not take me long to adjust.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the suits are recognizably Gundam suits. They just have a lot more lines.
Yep.
The clearly not a Zaku's are very funny.
What are they called? The ones...
Hyzax.
The Hyzax. I was like, the Zaku of the season has arrived.
Yep.
And they've stolen a Gundam.
Yes. The thing I like is that the Titans just stole the Zaku and renamed it and are just using Zakus.
Oh, convenient.
Yeah.
That the bad guys are still using the bad guy ships.
Yep.
And the good guys are now using the good guy ships, even though they're technically on different sides.
I mean, they're using like Rick Dom variants, right? Since they're called Rick Diases.
Mm-hmm. Sure, they look more different.
Also, they have 2 Gundam now. They just took 2 Gundam.
There's a shot of them like in the suits carrying another unused Gundam.
Yes, it's very good.
Just yoink.
Nope. A lot of majestic shots of the giant like cylinder colony like spinning as they fly out of it and along it.
Oh, the bit in episode 1 where they get that like space monorail around the outside of the ship.
Yes, it's so good.
Oh, it's so cool.
There's a lot of like, we really love technology. Like the way that monorail like gets into the station and the doors unfold from the top and bottom at the same time. Like the people who made this show were entirely on their bullshit about space technology.
What if you just wanted to draw space technology? What if you wanted to think about space technology all the time?
Yep. Fuck yeah, Gundam.tumblr.com is shown up as the show we're watching.
Man, that's going to be a dated reference 2 years ago.
Yeah, no, that's fine. People know.
That's fine. They still know.
No.
But yes, no, I liked it. I liked it a fair bit, especially when it all came together. I think that Kamille is an interesting protagonist, and that I don't really know anything about him other than that he is ridiculous.
I think he sucks, but in a way that is great. In that I love that the boy just wants to really get in the robot and join the fight immediately. I'm sure that will go really well for him and not be traumatic at all.
Yeah, no, like I also think he sucks, but in a way that could be interesting. And I just don't get a sense of his interiority in the way that you usually do with like opening episodes that are meant to be like, big monologue about how the boy is gonna, kill all the whatever or do the thing. And I've seen an anime before.
As much as
isn't that
as much as the first season is like, or the first episode is like smooth jazz as people walk through a beautiful place that's clearly about to get owned. I feel like they did not actually reset back to zero, and the simmering like inertia of Gundam is still here and is felt all around the edges.
Yes, no. I mean, it's a thing that happens in a lot of sequels, right?
Yeah.
Like where you are going to have about 5-6 episodes of everything being kind of a reset as it slowly increases more and more of the other plot.
Yeah.
Lightning Returns. I don't know. Like,
no.
Oh, that was a dumb thing to bring up.
Yeah. So that's it for Gundam, I think, unless you have something else.
I am interested to see where this is going. I am interested to see how everyone comes into this at some point. Everyone is in that shot in the title sequence. Amuro is a character in this show.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know where Char is.
Yeah, don't we?
Don't we?
Okay, I guess we don't. But he's there. He's around somewhere. I guess he is. I don't know. Like, I assume he's somewhere on Zeon.
Okay.
I don't actually know what Zeon is doing at the moment. It's just kind of talked about.
Yeah.
Because they're not gone, I don't think. I don't think the Federation took them over completely. Like, they mentioned Zeon in this episode.
Yeah, they always say the remnants of Zeon, so it's implied that there's very little of it left. And the AUEG is nebulously different than Zeon in that it seems much more not space Nazis, right?
Well, the AUEG seems to be like set up in resistance to the Titans, which fair enough.
Yeah.
Fuck the cops.
Yeah.
God. Amuro almost became a Titan.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I was like, Amuro's going to become a cop. He totally would have been one of the Titans if he had not been like war traumatized.
Yeah. Oh, a fate fantastically avoided. Anyway, that's it. That's mainly the takes there. That's all I have for this episode. Thank you everyone for listening. If you have enjoyed this episode and want to go on this journey with us, you can subscribe for $1 a month at patreon.com/abnormalmapping, and you will have episodes every Wednesday.
Yeah. Also, there's $5 and $10 tiers. $5 tier gets you writing from us every week, and also the ability to vote on games for our game club, Abnormal Mapping at thebestgame.club. $10, you can be on a show, any of our podcasts. I think we're going to have our first guests on Zeta. I think we have a person who wants to be towards the end of Zeta. So
people like to talk about Gundam.
if you would like to go on our Gundam journey with us, you can't like suggest Gundam. We'll get to the Gundam when we get there, but we will totally pencil you in for whatever episode you need, as long as it's not claimed already. So
yes.
I think that's it.
That is that. Yes, that is the episode. That's us done. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye, I guess. Do we have
Gundamu?
no more? Oh,
yeah,
no more
no.
Gundam. What a tragedy. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it a lot.
Yeah.
Gundam never dies.
The Black Gundam.
Next year's apparently a big anniversary, and they're gonna do a lot of shows again. So
Oh, great. That'll just add like another 2 years onto our project.
yes, it will. Thank you very much. Goodbye. See you next week. Hopefully, enjoy.
Oh, I can't help believing you 必ず会えるとあの日から